rain outside. The heavens just opened up. Kind of reminds me of our wedding night a little bit, but they say it's good luck, so all is good. Hey, no, have a seat, have a seat. I just want to say it's an honor and a privilege for me to be here. Many of you, we talked about it, diagnosed with breast cancer late last year. It was really, obviously, very tough news to get, but hearing the words from the doctors earlier this year that you're cancer-free really has been a gift from God. And trust in the Lord that I'm able to be with you tonight, and so I'm just very fortunate. I'm also very happy to be here because I'm able to talk to somebody over the age of 5. This is really something. I left a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old in the kitchen making cookies with Grandma when I left, and the governor, by the way. So I was heading out the door, and I said, "See ya," on the way, and my wonderful Madison. So I have Madison, who's 5. Mason, who's 4, and little Mamie, who was the first baby born in the governor's mansion in 60 years. She's now 2 years old, if you can believe that, 2. So Madison is just one of the sweetest children you'll ever meet in your life. She's very smart, just like the governor. I call her the mayor of the mansion. She kind of runs the place. So when the governor comes home, forget about it. She owns it. She's running the show. Mason, you might have seen our 4-year-old. He's made a debut on Fox News. I don't know if you've seen that, but he's quite the golfer. So they had Brian Kilmeade and Mason kind of showing their golf swings back and forth. It was really cute. So he's the athlete of the family, and by the way, is obsessed with Top Gun now because there's new Top Gun movies coming out. Which so I think that the governor was going to take him to see Top Gun at some point in time. So that'd be really cute. And then Mamie, we're just all living in Mamie's world. She's just the most wonderful little 2-year-old you ever meet. And so I have to watch her very closely because she likes to color, and sometimes she takes crayons and runs into the state dining room, which, by the way, has wonderful early 19th century wallpaper. It's supposed to be what Ponce de Leon saw when he landed in St. Augustine. It's beautiful. And she runs in there with her crayons, and she's starting to color the walls. And of course, everyone, we're trying to preserve Florida's irreplaceable history, so we're running in there with a magic eraser, and luckily, no damage. It's fine, all is good. But there are some perils to raising such young children in the governor's mansion. It hasn't, kind of seen, this wear and tear. I call it character. That's what I call it. Anything little scuffs on the wall and, slime in the carpet. It's all character. But it's honestly a privilege and an honor, and I have to pinch myself every day when I wake up in the governor's mansion, one of the most beautiful places. I'm married to America's governor. I'm just very. I just want to be clear that in Florida, we believe in education, not indoctrination. Most leftist corporations in California do not dictate what we teach our kindergartners. We do. Because we, mamas, we are not domestic terrorists. We are mamas on a mission to protect our children. And in Florida, the buck stops with our parents, because obviously we determine what we think is the best education for our children. We deserve to see exactly what's being taught in our child's classroom, and under this governor, I can say that is a reality. Legislation that he has signed to require transparency in the classroom means that if any educational materials are being withheld from a parent now has the right to sue the school district. Furthermore, we understand that we are all equal under the law, which is why the governor fought to ban things like critical race theory in our classrooms. Students should be united, not divided by hate for each other or this country. Our students really need to understand the exceptional qualities under which our country was founded, knowing that our rights don't come from the government, they come from God, knowing that our government was put in place to protect those rights, and that the government serves at the will of the people, not the elite, and understanding those principles are essential to preserving liberty. And so now our students in Florida are required to understand their rights and responsibilities under our Constitution and Bill of Rights, thanks to the governor's civics and literacy initiatives. We also in Florida believe in protecting the sanctity of women's sports. So in Florida, biological women compete with women, and will men compete with men. Being a female athlete, we owe it to the hard work of our women athletes to ensure that they have an even playing field, and that was done when the governor signed the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. You know, there's also greater accountability in education. When you look under the governor's leadership, school board members are now term limited, something I wish would apply to Washington. And at the university and college level, tenured faculty are now required to undergo performance reviews. And under his leadership, we have seen the greatest expansion in school choice options in the history of our state. When you look at the numbers, there are more than 1 million children and parents who take part in school choice options. And under this governor, too, teachers have seen the largest pay increase in our state's history. More than $2 billion have been invested in teacher pay. To give you a little bit of perspective, when he was first elected, the minimum salary for teachers in Florida was $40,000. Just recently, and as a result of this budget, the minimum salary now is $48,000, which is closing in on the top 5 highest minimum salaries in the nation. So you might be asking yourself, how does this all correlate to educational performance in our state? Well, our K through 12 system is ranked 3rd in the nation for overall achievement by Quality Counts. And our public university and colleges are ranked number 1 in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report. Because in Florida, we understand that education is the gateway to live up to your God-given potential. And to achieve the American dream, our economy, it needs to be sound and strong. And so despite some federal headwinds from poor policymaking in Washington, that has led to the highest gas prices in history and inflation that now rivals the Carter administration, in Florida, we are outperforming the nation. So in April, when you look at the labor force in Florida, I think the labor force increased by 30,000 people compared to the nation as a whole, which lost 363,000 people from the workforce. And when you look at our unemployment rate of 3%, it's below the national average and has been so for 17 consecutive months. You see some other states digging themselves out of a financial hole with a looming recession on the horizon. In Florida, the governor, as a result, at the end of this fiscal year, has tucked away more than $21 billion in reserves. There are record numbers of people coming to Florida, as you all well know, looking at some of the tourism numbers. In the first quarter of this year, 36 million people visited Florida, and that's higher than pre-pandemic levels. And when you look at international travel coming to the state of Florida, that was actually, look at it as a nation as a whole, 45% of all international travel nationwide, 45% of it came right here to the state of Florida, which is the largest market share of the state. So many of you might be thinking, with all of the folks coming to Florida, are people going to be coming down here and voting for the same failed policies that they've seen in the states that they're leaving behind? Well, to give you an idea and perspective, when the governor was first elected in 2018, there were 300,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. At last check, and for the first time in our state's history, there are more registered Republicans than Democrats. And the number keeps updating. We get checks on this every so often. There are now 176,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats. I think it's pretty safe to say that people are fleeing for freedom in Florida. And many folks understand that when they come to Florida, that the governor, myself, and a lot of folks, we stand behind law enforcement because we believe public safety is paramount to the well-being of a community. And that's why the governor, if you've seen him out and about, has been championing for pay increases for law enforcement, bonuses, and incentives to other law enforcement from other states coming to Florida to be a part of the solution to help make communities safer. And while other states have been demonizing and trying to defund law enforcement, we unequivocally back the blue. We recognize their support because we know when they put on the uniform and they go out to protect our communities, that might be at the expense of their own life, and we understand that and cannot thank them enough for their service. Law enforcement, unfortunately, has been busy, especially when it's been about this drug epidemic that's plaguing our country. For the first time in our nation's history, we have seen the leading cause of death for adults 18 to 45 years old is fentanyl overdose. And it's flooding across a wide open southern border, which has seen more than 2 million people illegally cross since Biden took office. And despite these impeachable offenses in Washington and Florida, we follow the rule of law. And that is why the governor has led to ban sanctuary cities and enacting Verify. There's also $12 million in this year's budget that he recently signed, that if the federal government tries to bus illegal immigrants into the state of Florida, those immigrants will be rerouted to Delaware or Martha's Vineyard. The governor has also led, really, the country in ensuring the sanctity of our elections. While other states, remember, in 2020 were taking weeks to tabulate the results, 99% of Florida's vote was tabulated and counted, and were able to report it on election night. Ensuring that elections are free and fair in Florida, we've done things, and the legislature and the governor has signed. They've banned things like ballot harvesting. Now, if you want an absentee ballot, you have to present a voter ID, an ID to be able to get that absentee ballot. We've created the Election Integrity Office to investigate potential voter fraud. We've also banned the unsolicited mass mailing of ballots, and they've also banned things like Zuckerbucks. To the governor's re-election, there is a lot that's on the ballot. Yes, there's a lot up and down the ticket that we can look at. But honestly, when you look at this election, it's about so much more. It's about freedom. Because while other states were locking people down, Florida was lifting people up. During the pandemic, we had a governor that held the line and stood strong in defense of the rights of the people. Everyone in Florida had the right to earn a living, to breathe, to send our kids to school, to see our loved ones without fear of government intervention or mandates. Because Florida held strong, the nation followed. And Florida, in my opinion, represents the shining light on the hill to the world that the idea of America is still alive and well. So when you turn out this election and you get your friends to turn out this election, know that you're voting for a lot. You're voting for freedom. You're voting because you believe your rights emanate from God, not the government. You're voting because you believe that the government serves at the will of the people, not a woke mob or the political elite. You're voting for education, not indoctrination. You're voting for parents' rights. You're voting for the rule of law. You're voting to back the blue, and you're voting to tell the corporate media to take a hike. We will continue to keep Florida free. So God bless you, and thank you for the honor and privilege to be here with you tonight.